My name is Jimmy Purdy, shop owner, master tech, transmission builder, and the host of the Gearbox Podcast. Here I talk with new and seasoned shop owners, as well as industry professionals about day-to-day operations within their own shops and all the failures and successes that come along the way. From what grinds your gears to having to shift gears in the automotive industry, this is the Gearbox Podcast. All right, let's do this thing, huh? So we're calling this thing the Gearbox. I don't think I've said that enough in the other episodes, but...
Gearbox.
The Gearbox.
Getting into it.
That's
the good stuff.
All right, Tyler. Mr. What are we doing? Service advisor, tech?
Events coordinator, off-road and action extraordinaire.
Enthusiast?
All of it.
All of it,
yeah.
Huh? Whatever's got wheels, huh?
If there's a motor involved, I'm in.
Let's do it.
That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, you had an interesting King of Hammers experience that you were just telling me about.
Very interesting. Decided to show up, and I had a whole week planned out. I was like, I'm going from Saturday to Saturday. We're going to have a great time. First time going, staying in Hammertown. And we get there, unhook the trailer, which I pulled a 10-foot pop-up tent trailer with my Jeep, my JL.
Yeah.
And drove the JL out there. You know, was like, I'm not going to get too wild, but, you know, I'll try some stuff. And unhook, head out.
The famous words.
Yeah, I say that.
Famous words.
Every time I say that. And so we head out and, you know, we're like, let's go check out Chocolate Thunder. That's apparently where all the action is this year.
Yeah.
So we show up and I think we were sitting there for maybe 30 minutes watching, you know, all these crazy rigs go up and everybody's just making it look like butter. The first 30 minutes we're there, I don't see a single break. Everybody's getting right up. I kind of see a couple lines, but I hadn't gone down and walked it either. And I'm like, I'm going to send it.
I can do that.
Yeah, I can do that. I'm on 38s. Yeah, I'm good. And my buddy's like, don't do it. Don't do it. We just got here. You can try it later. And I'm like, I could try it today. We've been here for 3 hours. It's long enough.
That's like an eternity watching.
I know, it really is. And so, yeah, I make my way up and I pick the left line. The right line just looked like body damage central for a full-size JL with the top on. And I go up. I get up onto the first rock ledge and I'm like, all right, we got we're making it. Give it a little bit, go up and now I'm kind of on two sets of rocks. So each wheel is essentially on a rock with a drop on either side. And I kind of start sliding backwards. I give it a little bit more beans and it keeps sliding backwards. And that's when I fall basically in my front driver wheel pops up. My rear passenger goes down into this hole, grabs traction by itself. And I was moving backwards and my wheels were moving forward. So as soon as that back tire and all the weight grabbed that rear passenger, snap. I'm like, okay, something broke. Locker lights are flashing. Something's wrong. Let's see if we can limp our way up. You know, I still got 3 other drives. Hopefully it's just one axle that's broken. I'm locked in. I can't go anywhere. So I end up getting winched out. Pulled it out and it was driving obviously in limp mode, not giving me any power, doesn't really want to go anywhere. But we limp it back to camp. The only thing we could see was gear oil outside of the wheel.
That's always a good sign.
That's a great sign. When you get that outside of the wheel, nothing, you know, something's off.
Yeah.
And it's kind of making some funny noises, but doesn't quite sound like rocks in a blender. Get back to camp. Wait till the next day and take it over to BF Goodwrench because they'll work on your vehicle for free out there. They'll do trail repair. They pull the axle out and of course it's completely broken, wheel bearings fried. And so we know where we need an axle. Pop off the diff cover and the gears are junked. And I'm like, okay. So head over to Yukon. Yukon hooks it up with a set of gears, axle, and we head back to BF Goodwrench. And they're all kind of standing around the Jeep and it hasn't changed at all. And I'm like, I can feel something else is wrong here.
Yeah.
So they tell me, they're like, well, your shaft is broken in your locker. Knew that much. But where it broke, there was not enough to grab it. So it's stuck with about a 1/4 inch of shaft hanging out of the locker, which means I can't get the broken locker out of the housing. So now I had to find a whole locker or a whole rear,
whole housing,
whole housing, Dana 44 assembly. Found one for a great deal
out in the middle of Johnson Valley.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of Johnson Valley. This is Monday, and I'm like, okay, well, so hit up every vendor in Hammertown and nobody could find a thing.
Right.
Which was pretty shocking for me that Dana showed up, but they had a 44 display, but none in the truck. And I mean, I figured 4-wheel parts, off-road warehouse. I mean, somebody.
It's got to have a 44.
Somebody got to have a 44. It's like the most common rear end. I mean, next to a Dana 60, which probably should consider those. Nobody had anything. So I start hitting up Facebook, Craigslist, everything. I get a referral or tagged in a post, and guy supposedly owns a Jeep shop and has a bunch of takeoff stuff. So he's like, I hit him up on this one that was for sale for like $1,500, whole rear end. And I'm like, sweet, let's do it. And he's like, oh, that one's sold, but I have another one. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Whatever. Huh?
Yeah, whatever. And I'm like, I can be there, tomorrow morning with cash. And he's like, well, I have a couple people hitting me up. Can you send a deposit? And I'm like, sure, whatever. I'm cool with that. I understand business. And so I give him my credit card number, and I'm like, okay, he gives me the pickup address.
This is already sounding bad.
Yeah, I know. I had a sneaking suspicion, but at that point I had to try all my options. And I was continuing to find other leads. He gives me an address, and I'm like, is there anything else you need? Because once I leave Hammertown, I don't have service. I'm at the Wi-Fi tent.
Yeah.
He's like, billing zip code or whatever. And I'm like, so I send that to him, and I'm like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the address you gave me. Boom, we're good. So I'm like, sweet, I got a rear end. And all right, the address he gave me was 2 hours from Hammertown. So we're on our way. About an hour away, I get a message from him saying, we can't do it. I had an emergency. My daughter's in the hospital.
Oh, perfect.
And your card didn't go through. So I need you to send an Amazon gift card, and I'll ship it to you tomorrow at no cost. And I'm like, okay, there's like 19 different things wrong there in that statement.
That's red flag city.
Yeah. And I'm like, my response was, I have cash. I'm showing up to the address you gave me. The parts better be there. I don't care if it's your mother, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your neighbor. Yeah. Somebody should be at the location to make this exchange. And it just keeps going back and forth. And I show up, and this nice young lady answers and has no idea who I am or anything about Jeep parts. So he sent me to some random address 2 hours away for a scam. I mean, it was all, and somebody probably gave him some Amazon gift cards because somebody needed parts in Hammertown.
And that right there is the exact problem with the automotive industry of everybody thinking we're all a bunch of crooks, right?
Yep.
I mean, damn.
It was impossible. And I don't even know. I can't even tell you how many leads I went through of maybe I can get these, maybe I can get this. And it was just one after the other. I mean, finally I ended up getting the axles or the whole rear end Thursday night at 6 p.m. And I was supposed to leave Saturday.
Crazy.
And I still had to do the work.
Right.
So I had a battle up against me. But the way I got it, I found another guy that was selling a pair front and rear. And I hit him up, and I'm like, hey, would you be willing to sell the rear? And he's like, yeah, I'll sell it, $2,200. And I'm like, that's fair. Let's do it. He's like, but I have one other person on the way. And,
race is on.
First come, first serve. And I'm like, this guy's like 3 hours from here. I can't. And I'm like, okay, well, how far away is he? He's like 15 minutes. I'm like, well, let me know how it goes. If it's still available, I'll make the trip out. The guy shows up, and he's like, yeah, he's going to buy them. And I'm like, well, tomorrow I'm looking at a tow truck.
Yeah.
And another 20 minutes goes by, and he goes, what's delivery worth to you? And I'm like, oh, we got an out. I'm like, how's $500?
Yeah.
And he's like, the guy wants $3,000 plus gas money. And I'm like, oh, so I'm spending $1,000 on delivery. Basically, this guy's going to make gas money and $800 off this like that. And I'm like, you know what? I got to pay the price. I don't have any options at this point. He was basically, I went through about 10 other scenarios.
Right.
And the guy goes, but I want a deposit.
Perfect.
Man, I was like,
deja vu. I don't think so, bud.
Yeah, this guy wants to know you're committed. He at least wants $200 for gas. And I'm like, how do you know? Who is this guy? Like, you're not even selling it to me. You're being a middleman for somebody else.
Right.
How do you know him? He's like, he's bought other parts off from me. He runs a parts business, and he's willing to do it. I'm like, so you have dealt with this. Is he trustworthy? Like, And he's like, yes. So I'm assuming one guy I have never met is trustworthy, and the other guy I've never met is also trustworthy. And I bet about 10 untrustworthy people right before this.
Right, yeah.
So I'm like, at this point, I don't got nothing. I got no options. So I sent him $200, and I'm like, if I send you this, I want a screenshot every 30 minutes of where you are on GPS.
And they're like, what is with this guy, man? Why is he not trust us or what?
Yeah. And 30 minutes goes by, and I get a screenshot. Another 30 minutes and I get a screenshot.
That's nice.
And
and that's the other side of the automotive industry is how much everyone's willing to help each other. It's so black and white,
There was a lot of people willing to help. The problem is there's so many unknowns.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep fighting. I mean, it's next to impossible to figure out over media who's who.
Yeah.
I mean, you never. The first page was a page that had been up for 2 years posting G parts.
Wow.
So who knows how many people this guy scammed and got, money from. But at the end of the day, I found a great business that does, good work and is willing to go 3 hours out of the way to deliver parts to somebody in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, that's rad.
I'll help them, and I'm gonna put their name out there, and I'm gonna take care of them as much as I can. They're all the way in San Diego, and they run parts basically from LA to Mexico.
Rad.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that is cool. And
so we fixed it and drove it home.
Yeah.
At 40 miles an hour, though. There was a little caveat. At flat land, I had limp mode. After we put it all together, it wouldn't go over really 40. It was only giving me about 10% throttle. And, you do I did a whole rear end swap in a trailer in 5 hours on Friday and tested it, and it was driving, which is as much as I wanted.
Yeah.
And
we're going forward and we're going backwards.
Backwards was a little bit harder, but we were going forwards. We had to make sure we went through drive-through gas stations, and I got all the way home and I was like, all right, and I'm going through, I'm checking everything again. I'm checking all the modules. I'm checking all the connectors. I'm making sure no wires got snagged. And, I bring it in. I work at Malahi here at the Jeep dealership in Paso. And so I bring it in on Monday after everything's happened and give it to my tech. And about an hour and a half, he brings me out a fuse.
Always check your fuses.
And I wanted to slap that fuse across the room so bad. The simplest thing, man. And you know how many times I've told people to check fuses.
Check your fuses, yeah.
After you get through all this complicated mechanical work, the last thing it could be was a fuse, right?
It's always your own stuff because you just don't realize how worked up you get, Yeah. And I think that's in our industry too. When we get someone comes in and they're like kind of riled up a little bit, and you're like, dude, calm down. Like, and then once it happens to you, you're like right to that animal instinct of like, I just gotta get home. I just gotta make it. And you get yourself out of your own diagnostic procedures. I mean, I have the KISS procedure everywhere here, right? Like, keep it simple, stupid. Like, always check the simple stuff. But when it's your own, it's so hard to like wrap your mind around that, Like you said, you did all like, what is it? I can't, the whole thing's fried. Like something like, you just go to the worst case scenario of it possibly could be like, I'm not even going to take the time to check the fuses because that's just wasting my time right now. And next time I could just be driving to get home,
it was a problem with the transfer case was the code that we were getting was, lost communication essentially with the transfer case the main culprit for those is usually the module.
Yeah.
But the module was fine. I mean, it had power, it had ground, it wasn't damaged. The connectors were on there solid, and the fuse for that system controls the front, rear lockers and the transfer case. So my lockers were still kind of acting weird, so I ended up disabling those with a programmer with a taser. So it wasn't reading the lockers. I was thinking if I had a locker problem still for some reason, or a sensor issue, or that if I just made it think that it didn't have them, that would resolve the issue with the transfer case. And it didn't. And we had a timeline to get home, and so going uphill at 19 miles an hour over the Tehachapi Crate, it took me about 9.5 hours to get from King of the Hammers all the way back to Paso, which is about 200 and something miles, 250 miles.
Yeah, we're right here on the coast in San Luis Obispo County, and Paso Robles in the middle. So it's a long drive, even going the speed limit. Like I said, I had the similar situation towing my trailer back, and I had lost one of my boost lines on my Duramax, and I did the same thing going over Tehachapi Pass, like about 19 or 20 miles an hour.
Yeah,
just just eating fuel, and I finally get up to the top of the tab. I got to check this out. And that's about the time my mind had settled down enough to be like, okay, I'm out of the desert.
Yep.
Because it seems like every time you go to the King of Hammers, it's like that. And it's just such a mind. You're just so worked up. There's so much stuff's going on,
So much stuff.
And then you're like finally settled a little bit, and you're like, okay, let me look at this. Take a breath here. Let me go. And I ended up finding my cooler line was blown off the intercooler. So
it's like working in an off-road war zone. Like that's how you would describe it. Like everything is covered in this silt dust that is just everywhere. You hear mortars going off, fireworks 24/7. Doesn't matter if it's day or night.
Yeah.
You're struggling to find your location of where you are. You can't see through the dust, and it's just finding parts is the other nightmare. I have to say that the coolest thing about King of the Hammers is the people you meet. You meet outstanding people there. Yukon, who was the only people that really were wanting to help me. I mean, they actually put time and effort into help me, and they didn't even have a vendor booth. They were just race support. So I knew Edwin, who was driving for Ultra 4 class out there, and I got in touch with him and ended up posting about a week before some pictures of him and tagging Yukon who's one of his sponsors. And they're like, hey, can we have these pictures? And I'm like, yeah, trade me for some axles. This is a week before King of the Hammers.
Yeah.
And they're like, cool, we'll put it on Edwin's tab. Just see Edwin, like out at King of the Hammers. And like, it was, joking. So I sent him the pictures, and then, then I show up to King of the Hammers.
So
and I'm like,
I'm gonna go ahead and need those axles.
Hey, about that joke I made last week, I kind of do need those. And they're like, oh yeah, we could definitely help you. Just go see Brian and Gus out at the Yukon tent. And I'm like, really? Because everybody else told me no. And I mean, it wasn't even like we can't get it. I went to Off-Road Warehouse and Four Wheel Parts Warehouse. Both of them, I was like, hey, can you guys get JL axles? Without looking at a computer, checking inventory, it was no.
Well,
I know customers. I'm in customer service. I deal with parts every day. Looking something, I mean, I know certain parts are back ordered, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to look and see if I can't get it from another dealer, another warehouse.
Yeah.
Especially when people are down and out of luck, you want to, that's when customer service can excel.
Yeah.
Yukon didn't have a booth. They weren't there as a vendor, and they still stopped, made calls, and got me parts overnighted to the middle of the desert.
Yes. Yeah.
They're great people, man.
Oh,
I'll be a Yukon customer forever.
Yeah. Yeah, Yukon's top of the line. I mean, yeah, you can do Richmond. Richmond's always nice too, but yeah, we run a lot of Yukon stuff here at the shop.
Yeah.
We have a Yukon master installer employed here, and yeah, it's, I mean, second to none for
Customer
sure.
service, man.
Yeah.
It'll earn a lifetime customer every day.
Yeah. Well, speaking of customer service, let's get into your dailies here.
Oh yeah.
So you got some stories because you run the front of a dealership.
Yeah. I'm a service advisor over at Malahi, and I mean, we see everything.
Yeah.
Dealerships get the best of the best, I think, when it comes to the unique scenarios. A
Yeah.
lot of time you have to figure it out. You don't, it comes under warranty, and whether or not it's going to continue to be under warranty, you got to spend the time and the effort. And a lot of times we're the ones with the special tools.
Yeah. So I think to dive into this thing, a lot of the pull of an independent shop is that you walk in and you basically talk to the owner at the front counter.
Right.
And so that's kind of the big service draw that is used as a selling point for a lot of independent shops. Like, hey, you know what? You don't go to the dealership, come to the independent shop because you're going to talk to the owner. Like, we're here, we're family, how would you dispute that in a way? As you've run in the front, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a customer service, can you beat the fact of having an owner at the front counter? Because, like I said, that's one of the sales pitches. Like, you know what? Don't go to the dealer. Come here because you're going to talk. You have a problem. You come back and you talk to the guy that runs the place. And with dealerships, of course, they're run from people, so everyone's run a little differently. But how would you you hear that? How does that make you think, or what's your
my
dispute to that?
My first thought is there's a big difference between an independent shop and a dealership. Now, where every dealership is an independent franchise and some of the ways they run can vary from dealer to dealer,
right?
It also is very black and white in terms of a brand will give a dealership a rule book that they have to abide by in terms of customer service, amenities, tools. They're required to do certain things a certain way. So it's much more black and white. Now, you can get to the owner of a dealership, or maybe not, depending on the size of the dealership group. If it's a small dealership group that only owns 3 to 5 dealerships, there's a chance you could probably find the owner there at one of the dealerships at some point. If you are trying to get to an owner of a group that owns 30 to 40 dealerships, you're not going to talk to that guy.
Right.
Now, that may or may not be a good thing. It kind of depends on the scenario. The benefit I see from independent shop is a personalized service. Now, where I can also give personalized service, and I do at the front desk of my dealership, you're not going to get kind of the back and forth that you get in an independent shop. And partially is the time restriction. We see 20 to 40 customers per day. You are also working on the cars and you're at the front desk, you're available. Somebody can come in and talk to you about what they're doing or the problem they're having. And you as a technician can give certain advice.
Right.
I'm mechanically inclined, but I'm by no means a technician. I can do a lot, but I don't understand the intricacies. I can put the Legos together, but I can't tell you the specifications of how they work.
Yeah, I mean, and it's more just that's just not
my wheelhouse.
It's not your job. I mean, you're there to advise, and to move that work into the service bay, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not the daily thing. It's not like what I'm here to do.
Yep.
But obviously you still have access to the same information that we all do. Like you can make a recommendation based on the code, right? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, there's, and you're going to get the same questions. Hey, I got this code. What do I need to do?
Right. Well, like my scenario, I had a code for the transfer case, but at the end of the day, it kind of had almost nothing to do with the transfer case.
Right. Always. I mean,
so people call in and I've got, this code and this code and this code. And I'm like, that's great. That doesn't really, it doesn't tell me anything. I mean, right. it tells me something. There's something wrong with that system. But at the end of the day, there's nothing I can really do with just a code.
Right.
I mean,
nobody can do anything with that.
No.
And I've said that before too. And I find it as like maybe a good thing that that's the situation, because with Leanne running the front, that's what she does. She's smart. She can run the office. She's not mechanically inclined.
Right.
She's not out there rebuilding axles, swapping axles, rebuilding transmissions. Like that's not what she's going to be doing.
Right.
And so it's nice to have that, because they come and they ask that, like, okay, what I can do is schedule you. You're going to pay some money, and then we're going to tell you what we think needs to happen.
Right.
Where if I'm in the office, I'm like, oh, well, I've seen a 2015 Chevy with that code before, and it usually ends up being A, B, and C, and we need to do this, and it usually ends up being this much, and that's not what should be happening.
No, sometimes you'll shoot yourself in the foot that way.
Absolutely.
I definitely have. Sometimes you want to spend more time and explain to a customer more, but at the end of the day, sometimes that doesn't help.
Yeah, you feel like you're doing the right thing because you're empowering them with your knowledge, and you're going to sell them because you're such a smart individual. And it usually is not the right thing to do.
Right. It almost always goes a weird way. I mean, anytime somebody calls me with codes over the phone, I'm like, I just need you here. I need your car here, and I need to spend some time on it. And unfortunately, I have to charge for that time because it's a job. You're taking away somebody's day.
Yeah.
And the other thing I hear a lot is, well, let me just talk to the technician.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
That creates all kinds of issues for multitudes of reasons. One, he's backed up. I don't have technicians just sitting around hanging out.
Like, waiting to take a phone call.
Yeah, I'm booking a week out right now.
Yeah.
I'm almost done with next week. I don't even, like, if you needed me to get something done next week, I could give you hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can make any promises.
Right.
And it's hard to pull, it's only going to take 5-10 minutes. I get 10 of those calls a day.
Yeah.
That's an hour. If we call it 5 minutes, which it never takes 5 minutes.
Oh, no.
It's 10, 15, 20 minutes stuck on the phone.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be rude. You want to help. But at the end of the day, it doesn't solve anything over the phone, going over scenarios that maybe shoulda, coulda, woulda, happen.
Yeah.
Versus getting it in and finding out, yes, you're going to have to pay some money, but you're going to have an answer. And you got to pay for answers in this world. Nothing comes for free. I'm sorry. You don't work for free. I don't work for free. Nobody works for free.
Right.
At the end of the day, my house doesn't get paid based on how many people I helped.
Yeah. those 10 to 15 minute phone calls don't pay the bills.
They don't.
And 4 of those take an hour, and you only got eight of those in a day.
Yeah, it
goes by real quick. Yeah, that's my biggest problem as running an independent shop is they want to talk to me, and I got to do that. But also, I got to realize that I only have so many of those I can hand out per day because I also am looking at an 8-hour day that, as an owner-operator, I have to be out on the floor, And there's a lot of shops that aren't running like that. They got they can be an owner and they can walk in and they can spend the time like they need to or want to with the client and sell them. And it's tough in the situation with a lot of shops. A lot of independent shops are owner-operators. There isn't a lot of absentee owner shops. And so with a dealership that basically is an absentee owner shop, if you really wanted to strip the layers away from it, right?
Correct.
They just got the people in the place to do the thing, and you're the face of it. You take it in, and then you deliver. And any problems along the way, you're dealing with that. Yeah. It doesn't go to a higher person, right? No. Like, you're it.
In terms of dealing with the shop and the work, it's me and it's the tech. And that's it. The service manager oversees operations, and then you have your general manager who oversees both sales and service. Right. And then you have the owner. So you've got 2 people between you and the owner. Yeah. And nobody, when it comes down to it, the service manager's not watching like over your shoulder. He's got a lot of other things that he's running. Yeah. So yeah, it's me and it's the customer, and it can be good because we're pretty darn efficient at what we do, but it also can have a negative effect because you don't quite get that owner experience, which is outstanding. You don't get that. I do great customer service. I've always prided myself in excellent customer service, but at the end of the day, there's things that I can't do because of the limits of the way the dealership runs. Right. And that's just inherent of a dealership,
Well, a lot of independent shops too are taking a lot of cues from the dealership and trying to incorporate that into their shops. I mean, we do the same thing, when it comes to parts margins and labor margins and not discounting. If you don't have the power to discount, then you're not going to discount. I have the power to discount, which is a good and a bad thing. It's more of a bad thing than a good thing because there's emotional discounting. There's a lot of things that come into play, and you're looking at the numbers at the end of the year, and I'm like, oh my God, why is my parts margin so low? Yeah. I run a 65 or 70% GP. How come then you start looking through the discounts, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. I remember that guy. I remember helping that guy out, and I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had a way of like telling myself I'm not allowed to discount. Right.
So, I mean, for me, it's like there's a discount box in my program, and that box only goes so high. I can't click it above X percentage. It won't, if I put in 30% discount, it's going like, no. It'll just tell me no. That's it. I can't do it. Yeah. It won't let me do it. Right. And that's part of the ways that we run. There's so many different extra expenses that we have, and that's part of the reason we charge more. But also there's a lot of promises that we make based on that. Yeah. And it's hard. Like, we have certain parts warranties that we get paid back. Whereas that's an expense for you. Right. Nobody's going to pay you back for that time that it takes you to do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's aftermarket parts programs that we're involved with in our shop personally. We get paid for our parts and labor on warranty jobs. So yeah, the aftermarket's definitely come a long ways to take care of the independent shops in that sense. Mm-hmm. Of course, I guess it's corporate in a way, but I wanted to get back to the charging. So, what's your opinion on having a dealership labor rate and an independent labor rate? Do you feel the dealer should always be the leading edge as when it comes to labor rate, or do you think the independent shop should actually be leading the way in a labor wage war, if you want to call it that, right? Because really everybody bases off their dealership. Hey, all the dealerships are charging $250 an hour, so I'm going to bump mine up to $200. Right. Everybody's always following the dealer, and I've been really looking at that like, we should be charging more than the dealer. They should be a little bit more efficient. They should be able to keep their costs down. They're doing a specific vehicle. Of course, they're not. I mean, I'm sure you pull in all the colors of the rainbow when it comes to cars. You're not just only doing Dodge and Chrysler. Right. But you would think if they're just doing Dodge and they're specializing in that and they're that efficient and they have, these people, you would think that would lower the cost. If you thought about it from like a manufacturing standpoint.
When it probably comes down to the cost per hour of work, I would almost guarantee that a dealership has a better profit margin.
But I mean, to quote out or have like a posted labor, let's just go to posted labor rate, even though I hate that. We'll go to straight to a posted labor rate of like 200 or 210 or 220, whatever. And then all the independents are like kind of following that coattail and saying, okay, I'm going to be 180, 190, 200 then. And it's like, I feel like that should kind of, the roles maybe should be reversed, but what's your opinion on that as far as having like a dealer be more per hour than an independent shop?
I would say it depends on the independent shop, and I'll explain. If it's a specialty shop, it should have specialty pricing. You work mostly and you're specialized in transmissions, correct?
Right.
That's a specialty service. It should probably be more than what I'm charging because not that many people do it.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a guy that does everything, you're an everything guy, which everybody knows if you do everything, you're not great at any one thing.
Yeah.
You know, you
a
can't.
master of none is, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So those type of shops, and I'll say Jiffy Lube because I have a huge gripe with them.
Yeah.
They should be way less because they provide way less quality of work.
Yeah.
And they're not quite independent, but I'm just using them because they're big, and I know there's a lot of little great shops around here. But yeah, specialty shops should probably be charging more because there's more specialized. We don't even work on transmissions. We replace them.
Right.
Like our shop rate is 170, which is fairly low in terms of today's market.
Yeah.
If you go into San Luis, it's almost minimum 200.
Right.
And we're talking about for Hondas. You know, you want to go to Mercedes or BMW, you're going to be paying 250 plus an hour in labor rate.
Oh yeah, all day.
All day. So, you know, if I'm charging 170, I wouldn't say it would be out of line for you to be charging 180, 190, 200 for specialty
For that specialized service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you also are getting a more one-on-one experience, you know.
Right.
If you go to any chains are usually less expensive than smaller shops. Because,
Right.
you know, in any industry. And so I think that is kind of off in the automotive industry but also the customer base. Certain shops draw certain customer bases. If you are if you're just trying to be the price gouger and you're just getting one and people get in because you got the cheapest prices anywhere and you're not specializing in your work, yeah, you're going to be less. But
you should go away.
But I just don't like the everything guys.
Yeah.
That's my biggest gripe and I see why I don't like them is I see so many comebacks and I see people wasting so much money.
Yeah, the part swappers, the parts changers.
Yeah.
Don't be a parts changer.
Like, you know, there's a problem with the fuel system, so I'm going to start with the pump. Oh, that didn't fix it, so I'm going to go to the injectors. Oh, that didn't fix it, so I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go to the module.
And now I'm going to go on YouTube.
Yeah, and eventually it'll get fixed. But did you need those 4 other fixes to find out that one fixed? No, you could have paid me $187, or you could have paid Jimmy whatever his diag is, and probably figured it out quicker than the guy who doesn't charge for diagnosis.
Not only that, but you would have supported an independent or a local owner, local shop, local people, and pay for their skill and pay for their education moving forward. I mean, I've said this so many times. It's like, yeah, you can put a bunch of parts on a car, and you'll probably get it fixed. And maybe you spend $1,000 on parts and it fixes it. Or you spend $800 for someone to properly assess and diagnose it, and then you spend $100 on a part.
Right.
The bill's the same, right? So you spend $1,000 to fix a car. Which way was right? And it's, who do you want to support? Do you want to support Dorman and their $1,000 worth of parts at Dorman? Or do you want to support $800 to the local shop and the local techs there?
Yeah.
You know, to support a local business. And it's like, and then the next time around when you have a problem, they're there for you. You know, and that's the biggest problem is everyone tries to fix it themselves until they can't. And then they wonder why they can't get into a shop. And it's 2 or 3 weeks out. We're 3 weeks out. Like I got 2 guys that work for me. I can't find any more. Yeah. I got the work. I can't find the people.
I think we're down to like 13. We lost 2 techs in the past couple months. And finding replacements is a nightmare. You can't find good technicians anywhere. People don't want to work that hard anymore.
Right.
It's a specialized work. It takes really good training to do it right.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it right, it costs endless amounts of money to keep you employed.
Oh yeah.
So it's interesting. I mean, and with 13 technicians, we're still booked out a week.
Right.
And I think another big thing is creating a relationship with a shop you're going to. You know, don't see shop A for all of your stuff, and then when you need something else, go see this other guy.
Right.
Because the other guy's going to go, what are you doing? Like, where's all this other work? Like
Right.
maybe I could have solved this problem way before it exacerbated.
See, and that's when you brought up the comment about the kind of the everything shops, it is tough because you're trying to retain a client and take care of everything they need. And it's really, really difficult to put a system in place because I'm all about that too.
Yeah.
I like to make sure we stay in our lane, we do what we do best. And sometimes that is maybe working on a client's daughter's car and she decided to buy a Volvo.
Right.
Right? And it's like, I don't work on Volvos, but I like you.
Right.
Right. And it's like, we've worked for you for a long time. So just bring it in and we'll do what we can. And then something major comes up. It needs a timing cover,
And
gas to replace or valve cover.
Inevitably, it's going to the shop.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like that just crosses the line. We'll inspect it for you. But hey, I recommend this shop. And I feel like the independent networking there in those kinds of shops is kind of another step forward towards the independence in a sense, because we built relationships with other shops. I have European shops that I use like, hey, you know what? We're not for you. Our shop is not for your Volvo. It's not for your BMW. We'll look at it because we like you. We've built a relationship. You trust what our assessment's going to be. My assessment is that it needs major repairs.
Yeah.
We don't do that. Here, go to this shop. I know these people personally. Is that something in the dealership that you have as well? Or is that like each service advisor has their own kind of, or is that just like not even thought about? You're just like, no, we'll take care of it. Or, I mean, how does that process work on like that side?
It's similar. I mean, we have a lot of different shops. Like we don't do body work. So we have shops, we have relationships that we sublet that body work out.
Okay.
If it's an off-brand car, then, we'll probably we'll recommend it goes to another dealer, usually.
Okay.
If there's not another dealer present, and most of this is liability when it comes to a dealership perspective,
Right.
because people love to sue dealerships for everything. It's a big secret. But they think that most, and not for everybody, and I don't want to say this too harshly, but a lot of customers are super entitled.
Yeah.
And they think just because they bought the car, everything else should be taken care of.
Right. Oh,
And
yeah.
people have lost the mindset of
Lost their mind. Yeah.
Yeah, just being able to take care of things that cost you money. Like,
Yeah. You bought it. You own it.
Yes.
So take care of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And, where things like wear and tear items, brakes, tires, spark plugs, all these things that you as an owner need to know.
Consumables.
Yeah.
I'm not putting gas in your car.
Right.
So where are you drawing this line in your mind? Because that's a consumable.
Right. Yeah. Your car comes with some gas in it, but it runs out just like your brakes and every other wear item.
Right.
But people think that, that I shouldn't have to. I've spent $60,000 on this car. Why isn't that covered? And my response is usually, you can go spend $1 million on a Bugatti, and guess what? Brakes cost a lot more than a couple $1,000.
Yeah, and oil change is like $10,000. So
Yeah. But I spent $1 million on it. Why isn't it free?
Right.
Go buy a Ferrari. Nothing's free. Like
Right.
it's cost way, way, way more. And you have to understand that it's your responsibility as an owner to make sure that your vehicle is at operating conditions.
Yeah.
That means when I grew up, my dad taught me to, every time you left, go kick the tires, look at the oil, at minimum. Two things you had to do was check your tire pressure and check the oil.
Right.
That was the absolute minimum you had to do before leaving your house.
Yeah.
So every day on my 73 Ranchero, when I woke up and went to school, go check the oil, go kick the tires. Make sure that there's air in the tire, because there was no tire pressure monitoring system back then.
Right.
And people now just go, my light's on, I need to take it to the shop and fix it. That was, when I grew up, I didn't take somebody to air up my tires.
Yeah, you figured it out.
You just did it because that's part of owner responsibility.
Yeah. But there's that divide of like wanting to be in the industry and wanting nothing to do with it, and just thinking that we're just a bunch of grease monkeys and here monkey, fix my thing. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so. And you have the attitude, like you said, the mindset is just all wrong. Like, I'm here providing a service for you. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry it was not what you expected, but I'm not trying to rip you off.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had to fire a client yesterday over something like that. It's like, look, we're going through the process here. Okay. we have an oil leak and we're trying to isolate the situation, and I'm going to stand behind it. But look, there's things that are out of our, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's next. Yeah, we did a repair on it a year ago, and now you need a repair again. Like, yeah, it wasn't notated on the first inspection because it wasn't a problem then.
I had the same thing happen.
It's going around right now in this town, I think, but yeah.
It was a knock sensor. We replaced 3 months ago, downstream knock sensor went out. We replaced it, and customer calls in, I'm having the exact same problem. My check engine light's on.
The exact same problem.
Well, no, the check engine light is not the same problem. It's the same icon. It means there's somewhere in your entire vehicle there's a problem.
Right.
Now, when we tested it, it had a similar code for the upstream. And we call them, oh, you need another knock sensor.
Right.
Oh, I thought I just replaced that. Well, there's more than one. And, well, why didn't we replace it last time?
Why didn't we do both?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, sir, it wasn't broken then. Well, didn't you check it? No, because it wasn't broken. And we don't check.
Did you want to pay me to check something that wasn't broken?
Yeah.
You definitely would have said no.
Yeah. And I was like, sir, if that's your mindset, I'm going to recommend you replace the engine immediately. And he's like, well, how much is that? And I was like, it's $20,000. And he's like, well, why would I do that? And I was like, well, because it's going to break. And he's like, when? And I'm like, well, that's what I don't know. Just like your knock sensor.
Yeah,
now we can replace it preventatively, your entire engine, because eventually it will break, or we can wait until a component fails and address it then.
Yeah.
And the other thing is just keeping up on it. We had a gal, I'll tell you this scenario, had 70,000 miles on her X5 and brought it in for a ticking noise. So the first thing I noticed was her oil change was 17,000 miles past due. Now, BMW oil changes are every 10,000 miles, which is already a pretty wide stretch.
Right, yeah, for anything, yeah.
So she went 10,000 miles and then another 17,000.
We'll call it twice overdue.
Well, almost 3 times. 27,000 miles since her last oil change.
Oh, okay, 27.
27,000.
Yeah.
So it went to 10 and then it went another 17.
Oh, I see.
In the hole. At 70,000 miles, that was going to be her 3rd oil change on a high performance
saving money
engine. And she didn't bring it in for the oil change. She brought it in for the ticking noise it was making. And it was ticking because the oil had gotten so thick it was no longer lubricating the engine properly.
Right.
And so she needed a new engine because there was metal shavings in her oil. It looked like glitter.
Right.
And so I recommended her the $37,000 engine that car needs. And she gave me a bad review and told me I was just trying to rip her off.
Yeah.
And that's the frustration that we have is people think it's our fault that their car broke.
Right.
And my response is, I didn't maintain your car. You choose when to bring it in, and I do what you tell me to do or what I recommend. But if I recommend you a bunch of stuff and you say no, don't get mad at me down the line when you're spending more money.
Yeah. Or you take that situation and you know what, we'll change your oil. So then you charge her $250, $300, whatever it is for the BMW oil change. And then she's back in a month later with the same noise. Hey, you fixed my car, but now it's making the same noise again.
Yep.
So do you recommend that engine off front? Or I feel like doing the oil change is actually ripping them off. Mm-hmm. But in their mindset, they're doing them a favor. Just like the damn free code scans. Oh, it's free. I can go get it scanned for free.
You do that.
I like that guy. Yeah, like, oh, you're gonna charge me to inspect my vehicle? Yes, we have an inspection fee. It covers a DVI. It covers our time. We talk to you. We smile. We
paperwork.
We're excited to see you. So yes, we charge for all that. Yes, there's other shops that don't do that. You can pull up and they'll jump right on it and go take a drive with you and tell you what they think it is, and they won't charge you a dime.
Right.
They're ripping you off.
They're probably wrong 50% of the time, at least.
Well, and those are the shops that are ripping the clients off. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, they're charging you for that.
When they do the work, the wrong work.
If you think you're not being charged for that, you're definitely you're lost, because there's just no way. If you worked for somebody and you went out and did something without charging, you'd probably get fired, right? You don't do free work on your boss's dime. If you ran your own shop, if you ran your own business, you're not going to go do something for a client and not charge them for that.
Not your time.
Right. And
Nobody works for free.
Right.
Nobody works for free.
Right. And whether you want to be upfront about it and say, hey, my quote to come out to your house it's a $75 charge for me to drive out there and take a look and do a proposal, right? Or you can give them a price over the phone. That's your free estimate. Yeah, we can all do that. That's a free estimate. If you're driving somewhere, you're probably going to charge them for a proposal fee. Or you're going to sell that job. You're going to hard sell that job. And then you're going to throw that $75 on the end of the bill. You have to. Or you're not going to last.
No. And I mean, I always tell people, does the doctor's office look at you for free?
Right.
Do they say, oh yeah, just come on in whenever you want. Just walk in, and we'll take a look. We'll tell you what we think is wrong with you, and we're not going to charge you.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody in their right mind. Or schedule an appointment.
Yeah.
Oh, canceled appointments. Those are my biggest gripe because people love to reschedule or, my frustration is you're taking time away from somebody else that I could have gotten in.
Right.
You booked an appointment a week in advance.
Yes.
And I've told 100 other people no to that day and time
for you
because you were supposed to come in and check something out.
Yep.
Or people that think something's broken because they haven't read the manual.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2 of those yesterday. 2 appointments scheduled where now I made nothing. I didn't make anything on that appointment. So that's 2 lost appointments.
Right.
One was for a window lock, saying their window lock wasn't working. And they could have spent 3 minutes in the manual. Yeah. And read the section on the window lock and knew exactly how it worked.
But it's that emotional freak out. It's like just like scared. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna call the dealer. This should be taken care of because I bought this car from these people and it should just work.
Yep.
What?
Nobody likes the instructions. I love instructions. They're my favorite.
Saves you a lot of money.
Saves me a lot of time.
A lot of time.
If I go through and I read how to put the box together before I try to put the box together, I'll probably save 30 minutes of trying to figure out how the box goes together.
Yeah, even though it's so much fun to try to figure it out.
It is.
Isn't it?
But I glance through those. Do I need help? Do I not need help?
I don't have time for that. I'm just going to go ahead and read through this real quick.
Yeah. Because 9 times out of 10, it will save you time.
Right. So on the service advisor side, how is is that a commission base for like scheduling appointments?
We only get the appointments we schedule, and it works different at every dealership. So when I worked at BMW, we had a receptionist that scheduled all our appointments. And it was just whoever grabbed the appointment. So whoever said hi when they walked in, that done. And that's how it went. Over here, you schedule all the appointments. So if you don't answer the phone, you don't set appointments, and you don't get paid.
Okay.
And we get paid on every ticket. So if it's warranty or customer pay, I get paid. A lot of people think that dealerships have a problem doing warranty work. And it's not a problem to do warranty work. The problem is if you come in with a problem that you think is warranty and say, one, we don't find a problem. We just spend all that time and get paid nothing. Because we can't charge, if your car's on a brand new car warranty, not your extended warranty, that's different. But if you're under new car warranty and you bring it in because there's a squeak and we can't find the squeak or it's a normal squeak or whatever, we didn't get paid anything. My technician spent time for free. I spent time for free. All of that was free. Now, when you don't have warranty, that's a diagnosis fee, right? So people are usually less hesitant to bring it in with all their little gripes and problems when it's not under warranty because they know they're going to get charged. Yeah. So it's a different mindset. Mm-hmm. Now, there's also a fight going on to increase what we call warranty time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know what warranty time is or book time for a job. It's really an interesting concept that most people probably have no idea exists because I don't know where else it exists in the world, like in terms of an industry, Nowhere. When I worked in interior design or furniture, there's just set pricing. There wasn't different pricing for different things. Right. So the way it works is let's just call it a battery, changing a battery. So if your battery goes bad, you change it. Normally that takes you 15, 20 minutes or whatever. If you ask warranty how much time you're going to get paid for that battery, they'll pay you like 0.2. Right. where it really takes, I mean, if you calculate everything, like from the time you pull the car into your bay, you run the test, you figure out it's a battery, you go to the parts department, you get the battery, you go back, you swap it out, you take the core back to the parts department, you go back to the car, you check it, you take a test drive, and then you take it back up to me and you tell me it's done so I can give it back to the customer. That takes, I can tell you, minimum an hour.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's not
depending on the size of the facility, but yeah.
Right, you know, but to do all those little things, but warranty only pays you.
It's like they got a stopwatch and they're like, here, battery's in your hand, ready?
Yeah,
go.
That's what they pay.
Both terminals tighten, stop.
Yeah.
Really?
So
and the hood's not even shut.
Right. And you know, they're probably not going to pay you diagnostic time, you know, under warranty. They very rarely, certain brands don't pay much diagnostic time.
Right.
Chrysler hates paying diagnostic time as a brand.
I could see that.
Whereas BMW they have a different opinion. They want their customers to bring it in. They want us to spend the time. So they will pay the technician even if there's no problem found.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really nice, you know, but also there's a very, very different expectation from BMW as far as service than there is of Chrysler.
Yeah, but that expectation should be across the industry.
That's what a lot of dealerships are fighting for now is raising that warranty rate to make it a universal rate. Because book time, like if you look at a Pro Demand or something, will be 2 hours, and then warranty's like, we'll pay 1.1. But it really takes maybe about 2.5, 3 hours to do the job.
Yeah. Not quite half, but yeah.
Right. Warranty pays a little less than half usually. And what reality is more than book time.
Right.
Unless you have done that repair 100 times and you can remember it by memory and you have all the parts waiting in front of you and the car's clean, it almost never takes warranty time.
Yeah.
I can promise you that.
Unless you're, and this is another part of the equation, the level of the skill of the tech. Yeah. You could be an A-level tech working for Dodge or Chrysler your whole life. You know Jeeps, you know Ram pickups, like the back of your hand. Specialty shop here, transmission. Does it take us 3 hours to pull a transmission out? No, absolutely not. I've done more than I could probably count, but I'm not going to charge 45 minutes to pull a transmission out because I've just used the last 10 years of my life to pull them out in 45 minutes. So sorry, you're paying for my experience, not my time.
Right.
You know, and yeah, I specialize in that, but that's why we specialize in it, because we're going to charge just like any other shop would or any other book time, but we do it a lot faster. But in a dealership, you have so many different techs of different backgrounds and different, you know, skill levels. Yeah. How are you going to give a warranty job of, say, an alternator, of a 2.2 alternator? You're going to give a B or C level tech an hour to do an alternator, and you're expecting that job to go out with quality?
Yeah.
What do you think he's going to do? Is he going to do it for money, or is he going to do it because he wants to like cut his own paycheck and do it for quality? I mean, we have the mindset that we want to do the right thing but after a couple of years of that, you need to get paid. Mm-hmm. And you can't help but think, what is this tech going to do? Is he going to shortcut something because it's going to make him more money? I hope not, but that's what you're breeding.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, over time, your really skilled technicians figure out not shortcomings, but shortcuts, you know, of how to get a job done. They figure out, I don't have to remove the entire subframe. I can just drop this one side, support it, and then I can get it out. Yeah. So I can save 30 minutes of this time. But it took him 5 years to figure that out.
Yeah.
There was 100 jobs he did where he ran 5 hours on a 3-hour job. And then now that he's in his, 6th year, he can do that job in 2.5 hours.
Right.
He's not going to keep losing money and only charge what it takes.
I'll do it less for you because I learned how to do it better. Yeah. Why would you give anybody that discount for that?
Yeah.
And that also comes with like what I like to call a knack or a hack, right?
Right.
It's a very fine line between a knack and a hack. Knock sensors, like you said, that's a good one. So on a Toyota pickup, you got to pull the intake manifold off to get down to the knock sensors. You could also build a plate and mount knock sensors externally and then just connect them onto there. Is that a knack or a hack? They're not going exactly where they're supposed to go. Of course, nobody's really doing that, but if it's your own vehicle, you might be looking up on YouTube on a Toyota and you're like, I'm not pulling this damn intake manifold off. No. Well, I can just build a plate and weld some nuts on and then screw my knock sensors into that on the side of the block. I mean, it's going to work about the same. It's on the engine, and you just did that in, say, 30 minutes. I think that's more of a hack than an act, but I mean, you get what I'm getting at. It's like
Yep.
sometimes you can finagle stuff that's not exactly in the procedure. That's not. It's still politically correct. Let's put it that way, right? Then you got other ways like, I'm going to cut this hole in the side of this fender to access the alternator. That's more of a hack, you know?
Right.
And it's like, so it's very difficult to say what the right thing is to do. But the main point is like when you got these B and C level techs and the A level techs are getting all the good stuff, I'm sure they don't get a lot of the warranty stuff. Well, I don't know. That's another question too, because in dealerships, if you have a warranty coming, are you sending it to an A-level tech or are you sending it to... Yeah. So then it's like, as you get better, you get worse jobs, you know?
Yeah. And that's the other, you know, and it's got to go for me. We have also different dealerships run it differently. Chrysler has specialty techs, you know, so there's 8 levels of certification based on what you can do. I have an HVAC guy. I've got a transmission guy. I've got an electrical guy. I've got a diesel guy. I've got an everything guy, which is pretty much the shop foreman. So, you know, if you get to the top, you got to deal with everything.
Yeah.
And that means you kind of lose your ass on a lot of stuff because you just can't. You get all the complicated things that, you know, you got to spend 4 or 5 hours figuring out on warranty, and they're going to pay you maybe a half hour or an hour for diagnosis, but you spent a day on it.
Yeah.
So you just made, we'll call it $35 to work 8 hours.
Yeah.
To figure out a problem. And then now you got to do the repair in 2.5 hours when it's probably going to take you 3 or 4. So, you know, 2 days worth of work and you made $100-something.
Awesome.
You know, and those are the ones
with your 15 years of experience, 20 years of experience,
$40,000 in tools that you have to own and pay payments on. And so, you know, you're paying for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
And I think the warranty time is, it's got to improve. BMW has a good model. I think more manufacturers should adopt that, which is if a tech's spending time on it, why isn't he getting paid?
Right. I mean,
it doesn't
all of
matter
the whole industry. Yeah.
Why would I spend time on something if I'm not going to get paid on it? You know,
right.
And then that's also why techs are hesitant to, you know, they get a RO with this crazy issue that sounds like it's nothing. They're like, man, I'm just going to push that off because I got this other guy that wants to pay me to do brakes and transmission flush and all this stuff.
Gravy.
Or I can spend 3 hours checking out a problem that I'm not going to get paid for. Or maybe there's not even a problem.
Yeah.
So I think we should, you know, BMW's got a great point. Pay a guy every time he looks at a car, regardless of what the outcome is.
Right.
Because guess what? It's work.
Yeah.
It means that he's working on it. And it's not plug and play anymore.
Oh, no. I don't think it ever really was, but in this day and age, it's definitely far from that. Far from just plugging your little plug your little thing in, and then it just tells you the code, and then you just order the part and replace it, right?
Yeah.
Like, what? What did you just say to me?
And then electronics now, newer cars. I don't know how new of cars you work on, but they are getting crazy complicated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like the security links on the Chryslers is something I'm sure you deal with. And so as an independent shop, we have to pay a subscription through Snap-on. And, you know, there's a big thing with Autel right now, and they're trying to make it so that no other scan tool manufacturer can access the security link.
Yep.
And then you got to go through the auto lab and pay or auto. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, there's the third party you got to go through to get the security link to match up with the Snap-on account, and the whole thing there, and that's just to clear a code.
Yeah.
Like just so I can access the information to do a regen on the eco diesels is a big one. I get a lot of those.
People want you to clear that code for free.
Yeah, clear. It's like not only was a scan tool almost $10,000, and I have 3 of them, but I have to pay a subscription for all 3 of them.
Yeah,
with 2 different corporations, and then I got to pay my tech, which also now is an A-level tech with ASEs that he's got $40,000 in tools to walk out there for just 10 minutes. To clear a code, and it's like, well, for one, I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like I'll just grab the scan tool and do it if that's the situation I'm in. But there's certain circumstances where, you know, I may do that for a good client, but no, as a whole, as a policy, absolutely not. that needs to come in and that needs to be part of maybe another service, yeah, we'll check the code, but we're also going to do a full vehicle inspection with
I need to know what's going on with that code.
Yeah. I want to set the code, and then I want to look underneath the car. If it's got an oxygen sensor code, well, I want to look up at the harness. I'm going to just do a full visual inspection and then just charge for all that as a whole, right? Not just do like maybe a code. And the problem is having a code assessment fee, because then they say, you're charging me just to check the code.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, what I'm going to do is we're just going to do a full hour. You're going to pay me an hour and pay my techs an hour time. We'll just check the code, but then we'll also put it on my $10,000 lift, and we'll lift it up in the air. And that, for some reason, changes the tone. Oh, well, I don't have one of those and I don't want to buy a lift. So that'd be cool to get it up in the air and look underneath.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it's like the lift is my selling point and not my technology for the scan tool.
Right.
Because it's so unknown. Like you said, it's so new. They don't understand how much technology is in these cars and what it takes. They just see someone walk out there with this little computer and it just tells them what's wrong. Yeah. Oh, that was so quick. Like, well, it's even faster for me to put a car on a rack. Yeah, I can do that a lot faster than scanning a car. Yeah. But for some reason, that's what sells it. I just don't understand the mindset behind that. But
well, and then when you're getting into the 20 plus cars, 20, 21, 22, 23, certain manufacturers, we can't even access their computers.
Right.
A good example is when I worked at BMW, we had a client who has a Rolls Royce. Same brand, right? Same, sure. Just like Mini Cooper, BMW, Rolls, they're all kind of under the
conglomerate, Stellantis and owning it,
all that stuff. So people say, "Oh, it's the same brand. I just bring it in." Well, when we plugged that thing in to read, and it was just to reset the battery reset, because when those cars, you cannot change the battery, BMWs and Rolls, without telling the car that you changed the battery.
Yeah,
and just changing the battery doesn't do that. So you have to get in with a tool, a computer, and you have to tell the car the battery has been changed so it acts properly. Rolls-Royce wouldn't let us in with our BMW computers.
Need their tool. Yeah.
So, it's something, and that's a battery change. We're not even talking about complicated stuff. We're not talking about relearning transmissions. We're not talking about software updates, anything. Just to reset the battery. Yeah. The same ownership group, BMW to Rolls, which even use some of the same software, Rolls says, no, you need to bring this to us.
Yeah.
And Mini is the same way. Yeah. A lot of the BMW computers won't work with Mini. And almost everything else, Volvo, Mercedes.
I ran Hyundai and Kia. Infiniti, Nissan. They're just close enough, but not.
It doesn't even have to be the expensive cars. I mean, even the cheaper ones now are just, there's 20 computers in a freaking Kia now, or in a Honda,
Well, the Ram trucks are the same way. Uh-huh. They make a security link for what? What am I, like, it's just so, it's one more deterrent.
Yeah.
And then they make it accessible. Okay, well, you can get it, but you got to get these, jump through all these hoops for us. Yeah. And then it's like, you know what? It's not worth it. And then it just goes to the dealer.
Yeah.
Most independent shops are like, you know what? I got enough work to do. I'm not going to deal with this fancy, fandangled electronic stuff. Just go to the dealership. And that's what they're hoping the conversation is like, well, but you know what? I'm going to stay on top of it because this is the new age, but there's a lot of shop owners that don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with all this stuff.
It's becoming that, and I mean, don't even get started on the electric cars, but you need a guy who's a technician and you need an engineer and a programmer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. A lot of the newer cars, guess what? They just need some programming and some software updates.
Most of the
just
time,
like your cell phone or your computer that needs them all the time.
Yeah.
How often does your phone update?
Yeah.
I mean, all the time compared. Yeah. So when people they come in and they're like, oh, something's wrong with my car. Oh, it needs a software update. And they're surprised every time. Yeah. I'm like, your car has 10 MacBooks in it running it. And they need to be updated at some point.
Yeah.
At some point, your computer updates, your phone updates, technology needs an update. And that's I would say a good 30% of problems, update it. Right. On new era cars, and that will solve it. It's running rough because XYZ. It's the spark isn't at the right time, or your transmission is not running right. It just needs a relearn all the time.
I've always found it's usually the parameters. So they program the module to allow the spark plugs a certain amount of wear, or the transmission frictions to accept a certain amount of wear. But once they have exceeded that capacity, once your clutch tolerances have gone from say 20,000 to 30,000, then the computer no longer knows how to deal with that play, in a sense, in quotes, right? So then you got to update it to the next thing. That's what I've found with a lot of the updates. But speaking of tools, like in the dealership, that's another kind of a hot topic. So like consumables in the dealership for techs. So the techs walk in with tools. On the independent side, it's all over the place. Like we have specialty tools they use. They're required to have hand tools, but we take care of gloves and brake clean and zip ties and all the consumables.
Yeah.
Like I just eat that stuff. Like let me know if you use an excessive amount. Use your best judgment. If you use 10 cans, like I need to know you used a freaking case of brake clean on this repair. Otherwise, if you use a can, if you use a can, then I'm going to go ahead and just eat that. Like I'm not too worried about it. But on the dealership side, how does that work?
It's kind of similar. For each repair, you're allotted something. You get gloves are provided, but a lot of my techs over here don't use gloves, which is weird. That's definitely a big personal preference, but BMW requires it. So
interesting.
So they're provided. But there was at some point, some techs were just like, they're throwing away every time they take them off their hands. And it was like, hey, these boxes cost $20 and you got to slow down. We can't be going through a box a day. Like that's crazy per tech.
Eating them all.
Yeah. And, a lot of techs will save excess fluids and stuff when they give them to. So, if you use 6.5 quarts or whatever, and you get 7 bottles, you got a half a quart left over. They're not just going to trash that. They keep that in a stash. And then when a customer needs it, hey, I've got a big stash. If you only need a little top off, cool. Then that somebody paid for that kind of.
Okay. So it's like a pay it forward kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't necessarily bill the customer for that. That goes into the shop. We only bill them for 6.5 quarts, but you can't get a half a quart bottle. Yeah. So there's excess here and there, and that goes into just the shop running cost.
Right. And I guess beyond like that kind of stuff, like as a tech, and like specialty tools, are there,
there's a tool room. We have a tool room with specialty tools. So you only need your basic set of quote basic. Basic is still like $20,000 to $30,000 worth of tools,
Yeah.
And then there's all the different specialty tools. So like your AC evacuator, and that's a shop tool. Your
like polars,
timing
and like
stuff,
ball joint presses.
Yeah,
because I've seen a lot of techs at the dealership have their own kind of personal cache of like the DCT tools for like the dual clutch transmissions.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed a lot of techs there have their own.
Yep.
But then is that like expected of them, or is it
anything that's a specialty tool for the brand is usually provided by the dealership?
Okay.
If it's not a specialty tool, then but also that's the difference between how a technician gets paid. Are they an hourly guy or are they a flat rate guy?
Oh, interesting.
So, you can get paid hourly if the shop provides you tools. And there's a lot of different rates and things, but basically if you bring your own tools, you can be flat rate. If the shop provides your tools, then they're only going to pay you hourly. So like lube techs, a lot of the time the shop provides the tools and they're just an hourly guy. They work 8 hours, they get paid for 8 hours. Doesn't matter how much work they do. But a technician, he provides his own tools, and so they will pay him whatever he flags.
I see.
Now that can work in his benefit or not. If you aren't good and you don't get a lot of work,
or you get a lot of warranty work,
unless you get really good at those warranty jobs, and you may not be making as much as you're working.
Yeah.
If it takes you 2 days to get a 10-hour job done, say 2 full days, and that's usually a 10-hour workday about,
mm-hmm.
You lost half your day. So your effective rate goes down.
Right.
If you did it really well, and you use less time, then you're winning. You get paid 16 hours for a 10-hour day. You're doing really good.
Yeah. And on a personal side of it, so you have certain techs. Obviously, you have your little niches as far as what you're going to send to. One of the big gripes for dealer techs is the service advisor and what they give them.
Yes.
Right? Drama. So, well, how does that work for you? Is that something that you've seen happen with maybe other service advisors there? Is that something that you do when techs, if you get into it? I mean, how does that, how's the relationship there?
I try to have a relationship with every technician. So, I try to see them when I don't need anything. I don't like to be the guy that shows up all the time just when he needs stuff. I don't want to only talk to you when I need a favor. So that's where I start, is I want to have a relationship with every technician. I've seen advisors that only talk to techs when they need something, and techs usually aren't real ecstatic when they call.
Yeah, I can see that.
If you, hey, Jim, can you come up front? I got a guy. I'm working on a freaking alignment, dude. What do you mean? What do I need? Yeah, what do I got to come up there for? And then the technician spends 20 minutes up there because they called the technician up to talk to the customer, and tech
like to do their job. Like, why am I doing your job?
Exactly. Yeah. And so there's definitely a lot of drama when it comes to that. And what work are you giving to what people? Yeah. Why is hey Tyler, why did you give this guy all this work? And my response is usually because it's not a problem when I give him work. If I have a problem with a tech, and not with him personally, I usually don't care about how I feel about somebody personally. It's about your quality of work.
Yeah.
If I give you a job and it comes back with issues, I can't trust that this relationship is going to work.
Yeah.
And ultimately it comes down to it is because it's my face with the customer.
Yeah.
I get the bad survey. I get all the heat. And if I can't trust the tech to give me a good repair that I can put my stamp on, my face on, and tell the customer, I believe this will fix your problem and you're good to go, then I'm probably not going to give him work, and he's probably not going to like me very much.
Yeah.
And I've had that happen a multitude of times. And a lot of times it does get pretty heated, and I have to have a conversation with the tech. And I said, look, if you can't promise me and give me quality work, then I can't give you work, because it all comes down to me, as much as it doesn't, it does. I get the bad survey.
It changes your whole sales pitch. Like, you can't sell $2,000 diagnostic or assessment if like the last 3 he handed you were wrong.
Right.
I can't keep having these conversations, man.
No, I don't have time.
You're killing me right now.
And I don't have time. Yeah. I don't have that much time to spend time going back and forth like that.
Right.
And so, I do give techs that I trust way more work than techs that I don't.
Yeah.
Or if a guy just wants to be a specialty guy and I don't get any of that work that week, sorry. Yeah. Maybe you should do more
other stuff.
Training. I don't know.
More training. Training's big. You gotta train.
I haven't done this before. And I'm like, well, there's one way to figure it out. Do it.
Yeah.
When I've never swapped a rear end before, but guess what I did when I was in the middle of the desert and I didn't make it happen?
Yeah.
I learned real quick.
Figure it out, huh?
Adversity will push us. And,
quickly.
If we don't get a bunch of alignments and you're just an alignment guy, maybe you should branch out.
Yeah.
Because tire shops are hard to compete with, and those alignments are cheap, and maybe they're not always right, but they're cheap, and customers usually towards
price shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the price?
And so, there's quite a bit of drama. Dealerships have certification levels. So sometimes you are or are not allowed to give certain techs. Like when it goes warranty, I can't have a lube tech do a recall. I can't have a lube tech do anything under warranty, because in Chrysler's mind, he's not certified to do any of that work. So they aren't willing to warranty work for a guy that's not certified in that field. And it's becoming, you need to be able to do everything when it comes down to it at a dealership. That's what I think. We take all brands, because guess what? When a used car comes in, if we get a used Chevy truck in, we're not going to send it to Chevy to do the recon work on it.
Yeah. No.
We're going to do the recon. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to be able to do it all. And at the same point, nobody can do it all, but you need to, what I mean is do it all, work on all parts of a vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gray. It's, you try to stay in your lane, but the lane is gray, and it's just all about trying to not go out into the weeds in a sense, like stay in your lane. Don't go out, don't be hitting the shoulder and hitting the weeds, but how wide your lane is just how skilled and educated everybody in the shop is.
Yeah.
If you're not real educated, your lane is pretty narrow, but
And
you know what I
say
mean
that,
though?
yeah.
Like as you start expanding your horizons, and your lane can get a little bit wider, and you can start taking on a little bit more stuff. But like you said, there's the new one that's always around the corner. The 10 speeds, 10 speeds are new for me.
Yep.
Am I going to say no? I'm not going to rebuild the next 10 speed that comes in. No, I got to figure this out because they're everywhere.
Yeah. And
they're in everything. So yeah,
for the dealership techs, they need to be able to look at everything. Nobody can do everything, going back to what we've said before.
yeah,
But I don't need just an alignment guy. I don't need just an EC guy. Those aren't that, it's not that specialty of work.
right.
When it comes down to it, going into transmissions, going into engines, taking those things apart, that's more specialized.
Yeah,
There are guys that will do that stuff.
yeah,
But as a dealership technician, you need to be able to take any vehicle and at least perform the diagnosis
with a smile.
with a smile. And
How do you like to get into the ticket and they're like,
but then, are you going to turn it over to somebody else? Did you just do that diagnostic time? And then now you got to give it over to some Tom, because Tom is the transmission guy, or Tom's the engine guy.
yeah,
And those guys can do everything. My engine guy can do everything. He,
Right.
he can look at any point of a vehicle. And
Yeah.
does he want to do transmissions? Not always, but will he do them if that's what he diagnoses? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's not going to give that work up.
right.
That's his paycheck. If he can get that done, he needs to figure it out. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to: is how much are you willing to do to earn your paycheck
yeah.
as a technician. And
It's the mentality of like what you want to take. I just
Yeah.
can't stand like you give them the job and then it's like, another one of these. Like
It's work.
what's with the attitude,
It's
man?
work.
You probably deal with that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What's with the drama, Queen? Like,
Yeah. All the time.
isn't this why you're here right now? So what is it that you want?
Right.
Well, I don't want to stand around, but I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't think this is for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it gets crazy frustrating sometimes, especially when your talented guys are booked for like 2 weeks, and then you've got a guy that you can't trust to give work open, and you're like, I could give this job to him, but it might not work out for me. Or he's just going to lag on it because he doesn't want to do it.
Right.
And then it's like, and then you have a customer saying, what's taking so long? It's like, well, Tom doesn't really like doing this work. So
Yeah.
it's taken
Yeah.
him twice
Well,
as long to figure it out for you. And then once again, it's my face on it. It's
Yeah.
me having to, or you go and, hey, I got a customer waiting. If we could take a peek at this and at least figure out a route, is this going to take a long time or a short time? I don't need a complete answer right away. I need an answer right away.
Yeah. Communication.
Yes.
Transparency.
Within,
Where are we at?
within the first couple hours of a car showing up, I need to have an idea of what direction this is going to go. And by that, I mean, I need to know, hey, do I have to take stuff apart to figure this out?
Right.
Is it already figured out? Is it a real easy cut and try?
Are they picking it up today, or are we keeping it for a couple days?
Or am I going to have to take the whole head off to figure this out?
Yeah.
Like, where are we going with this? Is this going to be here 2 days, 3 days, 4 days? Or is this it's got a restricted airflow because they haven't changed their air filter in 50,000 miles, swap the air filter and send them on their day. That shouldn't take more than an hour and a half to figure out,
Right.
all said and told. But if you let it sit because you don't like diagnosing stuff for 3 hours and then I got a pissed off customer, that's where the drama starts.
I could see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, it sounds like kind of my day.
It's
So I guess as far as the responsibility though that you've signed up for, I don't know if that really encapsulates tech management, because it's not really your tech in a sense, right?
Right.
Like you're not writing his paycheck. So
Yeah.
why is that your responsibility to deal with that? Like and it's like, where's the actual guy who's supposed to be managing these techs to be like, look, man, if you don't want to be here, you should probably go.
honestly, it should be the foreman.
Yeah. But how do they manage that? Do you go like tattletale? Are you the snitch that's like, hey, so every time I hand this tech something, it's like, so then you breed in a whole different culture, It's like, that's such a difficult situation to manage.
I don't, I try not to go to higher up unless I need to. Like, if I'm really up against the wall and this guy's just not listening to me.
Yeah, but it's like, you like for me, I try to stop that stuff like
way early.
And I can because I'm the owner. I write their check and I work right next to them every day. It's like, hey, don't do that. Like, hey, and I can monitor. I can see what jobs they're doing. I look through the efficiencies. I'm like, okay, obviously I'm not handing him those jobs anymore.
Right.
You know, like, and it's just like an untold, and I just keep cycling it, and then I start handing them a little bit more, and then I'm like, hey, maybe you should do this training on, whatever the job that they're having difficulties with, and I can start feeding them training and build them up that way, and it's a much more personalized. But like, how would you even manage that on the tech side of it without the tech being proactive? You know?
Yeah, I start with having conversations with them. Just, hey, dude, what's going on? And that's part of me seeing.
But that's just you. That's just you, though, personally. That's not your job title.
No,
that's not what the dealership's telling you to do. They're not like, hey, so if your tech's like down and out, you need to go have a talk with them. Like,
right?
You want what? I'm a therapist now.
Yeah.
For your techs, what are you talking about right now?
All day. And then, I mean, if I'm not getting anywhere with them, then they're going to figure it out when they don't get any work.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to, if they don't listen to when I'm talking, they're going to learn by my actions.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to is how much are you willing to understand and help the customer?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's all we're doing. I'm not coming at you asking you for favors for fun. I don't want to just, I'm not coming back and, hey, when is this job going to be done? Because I don't.
Because you want to know.
Yeah. I don't just want to know. Like, I have usually somebody calling me 5 times a day. Hey, Tyler, I know you said the parts were coming in and I want to see if they're done. And
yeah. Well, I think the issue is, and it's not the first time they've called, like you said, like, and that's probably what it is. They don't see all the unknown times of you.
They will. The customer will ask me
distracting
10
the
times
customer. Yeah.
before I go ask the tech.
Right. That's what I mean. And they don't know about all the other calls and all the other excuses. I don't want to call them excuses, but you know what it is.
Yeah.
It's customer service. Hey, this is happening. He's working on it. I don't want to interrupt him. Whatever it is that your sales pitch is to steer that conversation from you having to go out there and bother them, right?
Right.
And it's like that one time. Okay, I need to go. No, I need information.
Yes.
Like I'm out of
stuff.
I'm out of bullshit right now. I need some actual something to grab onto so I can tell them. And it's like a lot of techs don't realize that because they didn't go from the service side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, look, man, it'll be done when it's done. It's like, I understand your frustration with the vehicle and with me here right now, but I need you to communicate with me so we can all get paid.
Yes.
It's not just you in the car right now.
No. And, or like warranty, calling stuff into extended warranty is a nightmare. You're going to spend probably, if everything went perfect, maybe 30 minutes. And I'm talking about perfect. Like everything is, if the tech store is lined up, I got the codes, I got the parts, and there's no issue. I'm going to spend 30 minutes minimum for a warranty call. And frequently it's more than an hour, anything submitted to warranty, because you got to read through the story. I got to check the parts. I got to make sure they're available. I got to,
get a hold of the customer. They don't answer the first 2 times.
I got to wait on hold. I got to, go back and forth with a warranty admin. I have to explain why the parts broke and make sure that there's no other problems. And then they have to type it all in. I have to read every single part number to the warranty administrator. I have to tell them what the labor times are, where I got the labor times, where the car is. I mean, it's a big list. And, customers want to just show up and think it's going to be fixed in an hour under warrant, like that. And I'm like,
well, I already read online what part it is, and it says it only takes 10 minutes to replace the part.
Go for it. You got it.
You
already looked it up.
The parts department's right there.
Parts
if you want to go get it,
right
if you want to do it yourself. But if you want it done for free, there's a process.
I mean, how many times have you ordered something online and it says 20-minute assembly and you're there for 2 hours?
Oh, every time,
That's every job we get.
Yeah.
Every job.
Yeah.
The instructions say A, and we don't get A.
Well, and going back to the tech, the techs now, there's just not a lot of A-level techs left. A lot of them have retired out. A lot of them just aren't getting into the field. Yeah. A lot of them aren't doing the education that they should be because they think if they get up against a wall with a repair, they can just check it out on YouTube, right? It's like, I don't need to do this education. I don't need to do these seminars. I don't need to watch Scanner Danner. I don't need to worry about it. Because if I have a problem, I'll just look it up on YouTube real quick and I'll find a video and do it like that. Like that's your education. That's where you're basing yourself. And then that puts them at an echelon that seems or makes them appear to be a much higher level tech than they really are. Because that's not base knowledge. It's just learning on the fly, which isn't bad.
Right.
I'm okay with that. But when you start basing your whole career around that and you've been in it 2 or 3 years and you don't have any certifications, I mean, the ASE certifications are there for a reason. Are they the almighty everything? You become a master tech and you know everything? Absolutely not. But it's a good base knowledge.
It's kind of like college.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's like
school. I mean, can you just about do any job without going to school for it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that school help you? Yeah.
Well, it proves that you can show up on time somewhere for, 4 years.
Yeah, there's
for one.
And waste a whole bunch of money. We won't get started on that road, but
yeah.
I mean, school's a good outline for, a lot of things when it comes to just showing up on time, getting in a workflow, getting a good basis
educating
of knowledge.
Yourself.
Yeah. And you're not done there. I mean, you're never done,
yeah.
But it gives you the foundation that you need to learn things. I mean, you're never going to pick up an ohm meter and just know how to test, voltages and all this other stuff that, you're just never going to figure that out.
But you can watch a video and follow along with someone online that's doing the test that you're doing with that same meter. And all of a sudden it appears that you know what you're doing.
But do you understand how that?
But do you understand anything of what you're doing right now?
I can see, okay, I'm getting 14 volts. Okay, cool. That's good.
That's what I'm supposed to have. That's what it says.
Yes. Okay, I'm getting 6 volts here. Why?
Now what?
Yeah.
Or the in between. You watch a video and it shows 14, and then you get the 6, and it's like, well, mine's at 9 volts.
Yeah.
The video doesn't show what's wrong if it's at 9 volts and not 6. It's like it's because you don't understand what you're doing. You don't have no concept of in this case electricity or how the charging system works. So yeah, you got to have a foundation of knowledge, and it's like that makes it so hard to deliver certain repairs to certain techs. And I'm sure for you, it takes a very long time to build a relationship, right?
Yeah.
With techs and knowing what you can ship them. Because every single day for a year, you're going to have a different repair come in.
Yep.
You're not going to have the same repair twice. So, I mean, maybe you go through a lot of cars, but
it never starts with the same scenario.
Yeah, but 40 to 60 cars in a month for 6 months, you probably won't see the same repair twice.
Right.
You're like, so you're trying to hey, what is this tech good at? And if he's just jumping online, which isn't wrong, he's getting the job done, he's fixing it. But if he's just jumping online every time he gets a different repair, he's smart enough to figure it out that way. But is that really what he's good at? Yeah. Or did he just get lucky with the right video?
Yeah. So here's a good example. We just had a new Dodge 2500 towed in because it was hydro locked. He went through a puddle during the storm. Gotta love puddles.
Nice.
Yeah, those 4 foot deep puddles.
It's an expensive puddle.
It's $37,000 puddle. But so hydrolocked engine, you need a new engine, right? You need a new block. My tech goes, order a starter too. And I was like, why? He's like, because I can promise you the starter's burnt. He knows this from experience. That
smart call.
90% of the time, if you have a locked up engine, somebody probably tried to start it way too many times and fried that starter. Now, does your testing, your diagram, your repair procedure, or anything tell you to replace that starter?
Right.
No. But did I just save the customer a month of time? Yes, because I could have got through that entire engine repair, and guess what?
Starter's on back order.
Yeah, or it goes on back order, or it's 2 or 3 weeks out, or something. But if you don't have the experience and the training, and you've been through this enough times, that's what you're paying specialty shops for.
Absolutely.
That they've seen scenarios. They know how to work through these scenarios. They can save you time and money in the long run because time is money. If that repair took another 3 weeks, this guy doesn't have his truck for 3 weeks and he's not doing truck things for 3 weeks. And most, anybody who has a heavy duty truck is usually making money with it in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
Almost nobody's just driving a 1 ton for fun.
Right.
It doesn't drive as good as an F-150 or a 1500. You can get a better drive out of a smaller truck. Yeah. So unless you need that heavy duty truck, and time is money.
You're making money with it. The more time
it takes, the more time it's down, the less you're doing with it.
Right. And the same with the dealer or for the shop. I mean, once you turn the key and it fires up and it runs, you're getting paid.
Yeah.
If it don't start If it don't leave the shop, you don't get paid.
Nope.
So yeah, I mean, it's a good call, and it's a call that unless he did a video and was like, hey, if you've got a locked up engine, you should replace your starter because, you probably burned it up trying to start it too many times. Oh, that makes sense, right? But in the process of it, are you going to sit there and test? And it's like, that goes back to like the customer service side of it, right? It gets down and now you're having a conversation. Oh, well, we went to start it. We found the starter's locked up. Well, why didn't you test that?
Because it was dead.
Like
because the whole truck was dead. What do you mean?
Like, what do you mean? Well, you didn't test that? I assumed you would. Why didn't you test that? Like, don't make me look like an idiot right now because all of a sudden we know something that we didn't know then.
Right.
And that's how everyone jumps and just latches onto that. Like, what do you mean you didn't? Why wouldn't you test that? You wouldn't think it would be bad? It's like, no.
You don't test things that are working.
Right. Like,
like how often do you check the water pump in your fridge?
Why didn't you tell me you tried to start it 1,000 times after it went through the bottle?
Right.
Why didn't you tell me that? Yeah. How I'm just not the all-knowing. I can only address and fix a situation that's presented in front of me. Yeah. I can't do that's more stuff until it's like the trying to get a river to flow down a hill. You take the first dam out, and then you got to see where the water stops, and then you take the next dam out. You don't comb the whole freaking hill, right? To make the water flow.
The wrong way.
Yeah, no, you just wait to see where the water stops, and you get that next break, and that's how you deal with an assessment or a repair in any situation. You have to just wait to see what comes up. Unfortunately. And sometimes that's like a repair, like, hey, I got an intermittent fault. Like, I'm sorry, like, you can either pay us a whole day of diagnosis to try to get this thing to act up, or you're just going to have to wait for it to break. Yeah. I don't know. I don't see you're supposed to handle that.
Old cars that, when you fix one thing, it finds the next weakness.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's, I tell a lot of people, if you got over 150,000 miles.
Just like check engine lights.
Yeah. You're going to fix one thing, and guess what? It's going to find the next. You replace one old coolant hose that cracked, guess what? There's probably going to be another cracked coolant hose really near in your future on an old car.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to replace it all when it's not broken? Cool. Let's do that. Let's spend those checks.
And that's just the communication.
Yeah.
And that's where the tech, like you said, with the starter here, that's their call. Mm-hmm. Is that your call as a service advisor, or is that their call as a tech? Hey, this is a 1991 Honda. It's got about 1,000 coolant hoses. This one's got a pinhole in it. Does he recommend the one, or does he recommend all of them?
Right.
And that's the knowledge side of it. That's that's the main difference between an A-level and a C-level tech. Yeah. And it's not the patches, it's not the master tech certification. It's that information, that education to be able to say, hey, this has failed, and I guarantee the rest of them. Hey, this front wheel bearing's out. We should do both.
Yep.
Right?
Or like injectors. Same thing with injectors.
You got one worn out. Why would you just do one?
Right. I can save you time and effort now to do them all at the same time. Or we can play this the one out of the time game, and you can come see me the next 6 times this goes wrong.
And just keep pulling this manifold off at 4 hours a pop.
Doing them. Yeah. I'm happy to do that. Please just do that. But,
yeah.
And you're going to be angry every time your truck's down.
And that's the thing when you're trying to do a client a favor. I'm going to try to save you $800 because these are $200 injectors or whatever.
Right.
I'm just going to, it's just one failed. So we'll pull the manifold. We'll do the one. I'm going to save you a bunch of money. Yep. Right. But then the next one fails and you got to do the job over again. And you're like, but I was trying to do you a favor. No, you're ripping the client off.
Right.
And that's where the free code scans come in. And it's like, you're not doing. Yeah.
It's just the misfire for number 6. I only need the number 6 injector. Right. Well, guess what? Number 5, number 4, number 3, number 2, number 1 are all going to fail in the near future. Right. I usually say within 12 months.
Yeah.
And I've been right 99% of the time when I say that.
And it's another $500 pull the manifold every time.
Yep.
And there was no extra labor to replace all those other injectors. So what makes you think you were doing the client any sort of service by just doing the one? Because you saved the money up front.
Yeah.
And
but you lost them time in the future.
You lost them in the future. And now they got to bring it back to you. Nonetheless.
Pay another diagnostic.
Another. It's like, no. It's like, and I hate those shops that are like, oh, they recommended all the service work. And I get that a lot from like other shops that hear a car coming from a dealer. And then they're like, oh, the dealer, as usual, they recommended all these services. Is like, easy there, cowboy. Like, come on now. Like, we're trying to do the client a service here. And I like a lot of what the dealership does as far as their management processes and taking those kinds of steps and like, look, you're here now. We're not going to do a timing belt, not the water pump.
Right.
That's a given. We're going to do timing belt, water pump at the same time. So why isn't that like in the same situation. If we're going to do one coil, let's do all the coils. Sure, it's not that much time to do one individually every time you come back, but it's your time. You got to come back here.
Yep.
And then it's my time. I got to talk to you. Not that I don't mind it because I'm going to charge you for it,
Right.
but
It's how much, do you want to do this? And it's
Right.
a lot of back and forth.
how many more
and-
times do you want to come back here?
Yeah.
You know?
Or like routine maintenance is my favorite one.
Yeah.
People call in, oh yeah, I need whatever it needs. When I hear whatever it needs, like I see thousands of dollars in my head. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, are you saying you just want an oil change and a rotate? Or do you want everything that the manufacturer recommends at this interval?
Yeah.
Well, whatever it needs. Okay. And then they show up and I have a laundry list because they haven't done anything in the past 50,000 miles.
Yeah.
So here's a $1,500 quote and they go, what the hell? And I said, your words were, do it all. I want everything that it like, and then they freak out because
Or like, I don't care what it costs, get it done. Well, I'm going to go ahead and send you a quote. No, don't worry about the quote.
I had this happen.
Just go ahead and get it done.
I had a guy come in, big flexing with his 392 Durango, which needed brakes. And he goes, yeah, just order them and get them done. And I'm like, do you want a quote first or like whatever it takes? Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's fine. And I'm like, I come out.
How much could it really be? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and let you know first.
Right. And so I go back and I'm like, hey, you need pads and rotors. And that's going to be like $5,200. He's like, yeah, it's fine. I'll order it. And then I'm like, okay, I'll place them on order, but it's going to take me about a week to get them. Okay. 3 days later, he calls. Hey, about that quote, what all are you doing for that price? Pads, rotors, sensors, and replacing them. Well, I didn't ask for rotors. I didn't. I mean, you did.
This is the brake job.
Yeah, this is what it requires. I'm like, you have drilled and slotted rotors. I can't mill them.
Right.
And they're due because you have a
Probably a huge lip in them, probably way under the specifications.
Yeah, and
a disservice not to replace
car
them.
with 400 horsepower that weighs 7,000 pounds. Like, it takes energy to stop that every single time.
Yeah.
And go for it. Go for the cheap brand. I'm sure they'll work out great. But you said do it whatever it costs. And I can, you know what happened? He canceled. Anytime they say do whatever.
Every time.
I don't
understand that.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just lack of knowledge or what it is, or just not wanting to know, not caring. But yeah, people don't understand their vehicles anymore.
Right.
They don't look at the manual. They don't even peek at it. They don't even look at the quick start one, the little 10-page one.
Yeah.
If you just look at your maintenance interval, you probably could learn a lot. And then you know when a dealership or a shop is lying to you.
Yeah, that's true. Self-education, client education.
Right.
I mean, it's important.
Do you have an open checkbook? Because you can either be smart and rich, or smart and poor, or dumb and rich. I mean, if you don't want to know anything, you can pay for it. But if you know everything, then you'll probably save some money because you could either do it yourself, like an air filter. How hard is a cabin air filter or an engine air filter to do?
Right.
For us, it costs about $15 or $20 in labor plus the part. Do you want to pay that $35 for us to change them, or do you want to save $35 and do it yourself?
Right.
Now on the oil change,
I'll do them all day long. I mean,
Right.
I'll take it.
Easy.
I'll take all those all day long.
Oil changes, like we charge $20 in labor for an oil change. Do you want to climb under your car for $20, or do you want me to do it for $20?
Yeah.
I mean, the price of the oil is the price of the oil. I can't change that.
Right.
But for $20, I'm probably going to give somebody else $20 to do my oil change. For me, my time and effort and crawling up under there and draining the oil and disposing of the oil.
Yeah.
Like, is that worth $20? Hell yeah, it's worth $20.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously the price where they put it there. I mean, it makes me want to send all my cars over there, and I'll just tack another $20 on and call it a day.
And I mean, customers, I tell them, if you want to save money, get your own oil and filter. I'm not going to guarantee that it's good oil or a good filter, and bring it to me and pay me $20 to change your oil.
Yeah. Yeah. So on the dealership side, the bring your own parts.
That's an interesting one.
You do a lot of that?
Not a lot. We frown upon it because we can't. I mean,
that's got to be an absolute no for you at a dealership. I would assume, because for us, our policy is like we just don't. No more. Like unless it's a custom part, and I know the aftermarket part company, Holly, something like that. Sure.
Yukon, whatever.
Yeah, like sure, I'll put those in. But most of the time, like even gears, I'm getting like no, I want it from my supplier so I can warranty them.
It's highly, highly frowned upon. But I will make it abundantly clear if a customer wants to go to that route that you're going to pay me if there's a problem with this, a lot of labor to figure it out. Like I'm not warranting any part of this. There's no part of this that's warranty. Like it's because we warranty all our work.
Yeah.
And that's why we supply all our parts for the most part. But if you want to bring in a part, you're going to pay me to do a job regardless of if it fixes it or not. Because I'm going to have to re-diagnose what's going on after this part to figure out, okay, is it something else or is it this part?
Right.
And most of the time, it's the part. It's not worth it. Like we just had a guy who provided his own engine for a repair.
Wow, I just had no idea the dealership would even like think about having that as an option.
It wasn't my ticket. I wouldn't have done it. I would.
But that's a service advisor's own personal call, huh?
Yeah, if he went and that guy.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean it varies dealership to dealership.
Right, of course. But I just assumed all dealerships would have like a policy in place. It's like step one, as your first day as a service advisor, line one item on your like responsibilities, no customer parts. Like I just assumed that would be like the number one thing on the line item.
No, you can bring your own parts.
Crazy.
Now this guy has this tech advisor that dealt with this one has spent an insane amount of time since that one was done several months ago because it has come back repeatedly.
Oh my God.
For a ridiculous. That engine ended up being bad, so we got another engine. He paid us a second time to do the engine replacement, and that one has had more problems. I mean, we could have provided an engine, and at this point, he would have spent less on the engine we provided.
Typically, how that goes, yeah.
Then he's spent more money on redoing gaskets, and he's had to do a starter, and he's had to do this, and he's had to do that. And if you add it all up, he probably has paid way more than it would have just been for our original quote.
And still with no warranty.
And still has no warranty. And our engines come with, like a 3-year, 100,000 mile warranty or something.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, you thought you saved money, but you don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
just pay someone for their service, man. Yeah, just pay for the service, and then they'll stand behind it.
A good common one is like intake manifolds. It seems to be people think they're easy enough, so they order just whatever aftermarket intake manifold, and it either doesn't fit right or it cracks because they didn't look up the torque specs, and they just, I'm just going to cinch this down with my impact on this plastic intake manifold and crack it.
The old Ugga-Duggas.
Yeah. That's been a common one is like cracked intake manifolds, aftermarket intake manifolds that don't seal, or like we'll give, sometimes if we can't get the OEM one, we'll offer an aftermarket one. And then if it comes in and it doesn't work, guess what? You don't pay for it.
Right.
That's the dealership promise.
Right. I mean, that's kind of like this is how the whole service industry should be. And in this industry is like,
it's because we provided the parts.
Right. Exactly.
So if we recommend it and it doesn't work, you don't pay for it.
Right.
If you bring us something and it doesn't work, you're going to pay both sides of that.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's standard. I mean, that's how it should be, and that's the problem I think a lot of other shops get into. They think that, I'm just going to be Mr. Fix-It and bring your own parts to me and I'll just do the labor. And then they get stuck in these situations and it's like, why did you put yourself in that situation?
Amazon has ruined so many things, but also been so great.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty surprising how many manufacturers have part stores on Amazon with actual OEM parts.
Oh, absolutely.
The problem is that one sponsored one that's right above the Mopar store that says Mopar is not Mopar.
Yeah.
And, people click the wrong one. Keys never work. Don't buy aftermarket keys.
Yeah, I can see that.
On new cars, the security just doesn't work. It's some universal key and it'll work with your 90s Honda or whatever. But the new cars with the security, just aftermarket keys don't work.
No, there's no way.
You're going to pay me $170 to program a key and it doesn't work. And then you're going to pay me another $170 to program the other key. So that $50 you were going to save, you now spend an extra $170.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wish there was a way of encapsulating exactly what you should and shouldn't buy. But man, is that ever so gray.
Yeah.
Like there's just we could talk about that for hours as far as trying to figure out what you should and shouldn't buy. I think the main takeaway, just take it to a professional.
Yeah. And that's where the experience comes down to. Like, you know, how many times have we ordered parts from somebody and figured out if they're good or not?
Right.
You know, how many times did I reach out to that scam guy? You know, or a different scammer. Or it just comes down to experience. You learn where the quality is and where it isn't. And I can tell you most of the time it's not on the internet, like just what you first find. If you dig hard enough, but once again, experience. If you spend a whole week researching something, was it worth your time? Or was it worth an hour of my time to pay me $170?
Well, you're there to do that. And it's like, you have the experience. You've been in this long enough to know better. And it's still got you, right? Mm-hmm. And not to say there was anything you necessarily did wrong, but it's just that's how good they are. How is somebody without the decades of experience of being in the front of a dealership or running a shop, if they can't tell the difference, how are you going to tell the difference if you don't even have that experience, right? So it's like, why are you even trying? Why are you even trying to save a couple $100? If you're even going to save a couple $100, you might have got a win once or twice doing that, but that's it. Like that you can't keep doing that. Like eventually it's going to turn around and bite you, and all that you've saved before is like done. You know, you're gonna get it's just happened. There's too many scammers. There's too many people trying to make the auto industry look bad, trying to capitalize on. Because when you have a nice experience with a shop, it changes your entire perspective in the industry, right? And you're like, wow, these are super helpful people. How would anybody in this industry ever try to rip somebody off? Because you meet someone that is nice, that's helpful, that takes care of you. And these are the scammers that take advantage of that situation. And
I think it comes down to people. You gotta do a little bit of research. And I don't mean necessarily on the internet. I mean, ask knowledgeable people where they're taking their vehicles.
The internet is not the know-all.
Don't go on Facebook and ask, where should I take my car? No, just don't do that. Find a mechanic, create a relationship, find somebody who knows about cars, ask them where to take it. Because there's good and there's bad with everything, you know, and it's not as easy as what are the Google reviews. It's not as easy as that, unfortunately, because there's bad voices are a lot louder than good voices when it comes down to it.
And when you're asking for recommendations, the ones that are scamming are usually the first couple ones to be recommended, right? Because it's like they're hurting for work.
They're like, oh yeah, bring it in right away. I got it. Like,
I got you.
Whenever I hear bring it in right away, like I'm always hesitant. I'm like, how open is his schedule?
That's not good right now. Not in this day and age.
No.
You should be waiting at least 3 days. 3 days minimum. I don't know any shop around here right now that's less than 3 days. Unless it's a simple service or something like that.
Right.
Most of the stuff is like, I need, you know.
I'm a week out for an oil change.
Yeah.
Like that's, and then people are mad when they call in the day before.
Oh my God.
Because they waited, you know, and they're 2,000 miles overdue.
Yeah.
And, you know, usually my response to almost anyone is, this is my next appointment. You're welcome to drop it off before. I don't know if I'll get to it before. So if you want to be without your vehicle for extra time, you can drop it off. I might be able to get it in early, but I don't want to make a promise till next Friday when my next appointment is.
Yeah.
You know, I had a guy on Friday that was traveling, and I'm like, hey, my next appointment is Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you're out of luck. Drop it off. I'll do my best to try to take a peek at it, but it just depends on how much work it takes me to diagnose it. Right. If I get an answer quick, I'm going to get you an answer quick. And I tell my tech that, hey, I know you've got 25 other jobs in line. I've got a guy who's traveling. If you could spend 20 minutes on this today for me, just 20 minutes, don't do everything.
Yeah.
We'll try to get this guy somewhat of an answer. Can he have this taken somewhere? We'll get him rolling. You know, we ended up figuring it out pretty quick, and we're going to get it fixed Monday for him. But that was a perfect scenario. It doesn't always go perfect. I've had way too many things where they get really complicated, or they tried to fix it themselves and they don't tell you that. And then you're fighting a stripped bolt, and it just goes all kinds of ways. Now, and that's why I always prep. This is my next appointment. You can bring it in. I'm not making promises. I don't promise anything in a shop because I've never seen everything, but I've seen everything. You know, I've seen every way it goes wrong, and there'll always be a new way it goes wrong.
That's true.
But that's why we don't make promises, is because we're not in control of anything. Yeah. I don't control the shipping. I don't control the car. I didn't make the car. And
Yeah. I didn't buy it. I didn't build it, and I didn't break it.
Yeah.
So don't bitch at me.
Right. I'll give you a phone number. I got all kinds of phone numbers you can complain to.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm just here to help you. So biting my head off is not going to do you any good.
Right. Yeah, that's the biggest problem right now. Client advocacy.
Yeah.
Being as a service writer, you get to deal with that day in and day out.
All of it, and it's a lot of the calling in and just the wanting it right away. And believe me, I would if I could, but even with 13 technicians, they're still a week out.
Yeah.
And when you come in and you want something right away, you're basically telling all the other people that booked an appointment to F off.
Right. Yep.
And it may not feel like that on your end, but 20 to 30 people a day, I've promised an appointment time.
Right.
That's my promise. That you can show up and drop your car off then.
Yeah.
But after that, it changes. And when you want to get in the same day and you want it done right away, well, I got to tell 40 other people that their car got delayed.
Yeah.
And those aren't good conversations. And I have to have those conversations every day.
Yeah.
But
just selfish people is what they are.
Yeah. And I understand, sir, your car's important, but there's 70 other cars that are also very important. Yeah. And I want to help every one of them in a timely fashion.
And they all took the time to make an appointment and leave it with me.
Right. Or not bug me twice a day. I love those calls. Hey, I know it's been 3 hours, but what's happened?
Yeah. Now what?
What? Can you tell me what else you've done? I'm still waiting on the part, sir. I will call you when it shows up.
Trust me.
4 hours later. Hey, is that part there? No, it's ETA. If I tell you an ETA, I'm going to be wrong. And then you're going to call me a liar. Because how many times has the package got delayed from UPS coming to your house?
Right.
Well, we have about 100 something packages show up a day.
Right.
They all get delayed. Every one of them.
Every single time go through that. Oh my God.
Every single time. Or the inventory counts off. It says there's 3 in LA in the warehouse. And what it doesn't tell you is 5 other people ordered it today and they only had 1 and not 3.
Perfect.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I told you it was going to be here tomorrow and now it's 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
So I usually don't. Hey, it could be a week. It could be 3 months. 3 months? Well, I don't know. And I'm just trying to be.
Until I have it in my possession, we'll let you know.
And I heard the guy next to me for the past month, these torsion bolts that we were waiting on. He said, ETA is February 9th. Oh, it didn't show up on the 9th. Now it shows the 12th. Okay, now it shows the 16th. Every single time he'd tell him the date. And the date kept getting moved 3 days out.
That's the worst.
And so every 3 days, this guy would call him a liar. You told me it'll be here. Well, I didn't pick up the part and deliver it, so I'm sorry, but you're going to have to call UPS.
Yeah. Here's the tracking number.
If we even get one. We don't get it till it ships usually.
Yeah, that's true.
And even then, add a couple days. If it says overnight, I'm going to say 48 hours. If it says 3 days, I'm going to tell you a week.
Yeah.
And that's just because I've seen it before. And I don't want to promise you something that I don't control. And that's,
right.
A lot of things is just you can't control. And that's welcome to service industry.
Oh, yeah. And then parts service industry in the automotive industry in 2023.
I'm so tired of hearing the word delay.
Yeah. Always.
And it's or back order or not available and just because there's a quantity out there. I look up and it says 0 at distributor, 0 at supplier, 400 on order, 700 at other dealers. What are the chances you think one of those dealers is going to sell them to me?
Right.
You may think we're all friendly, but the guy that's got 10 in stock, when I call him and ask him to have 4 of them, and he looks on the inventory and he sees that there's 0 at the supplier and there's 400 orders placed, what if he needs it? Yeah. He's not going to give that up because he knows he can't get any for the next 2 months.
Right.
So when people say, just call another dealer, unfortunately, that doesn't work. All the time. It will work sometimes, but it usually only works if the part's available.
Odds are I'm not going to waste my time even making the phone call.
Right. And, if you've ever tried to call a parts department, they're busy. They've got 100 customers that are there at the store. And by that, I mean the cars that are there are the customers that are there.
Right.
And those ones all come first. And if you're calling in to try to find a part, you're probably going to be on hold and you're probably going to be waiting a while.
Oh yeah.
It's the same thing when I call another dealer. I don't get straight to the guy and on a walkie-talkie and he's just like, oh yeah, I'll send it right over right now. Like,
where's the inside line, huh?
I'm just another customer. Like when it comes down to it, when I call another dealership, unless we own that dealership, which we don't own any other Dodge dealerships, I'm not getting that part. And even if I did own them, the guy that's running the shop, the GM, is probably going to be like, no, I want this part because I'm going to need it for my customer that shows up next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so back orders are something we're dealing with now. And the supply chain is not even near as fixed as it could be.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to return. I mean, I think Americans need to start making more parts and, we need to simplify stuff and it just keeps getting more complicated and more electronic and we're stuck in a hard place.
Just more parts that are specific.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. You don't have parts that are like one for every 30 cars or 40 cars or 100 cars. It's every car is unique.
Right.
So you have to have a special unique part for every unique vehicle, for every unique person.
Right. Like you used to be able to go, I need the brake rotors for a 70 Chevy. Chances are, there's like 3 options. Like,
yeah.
and
now they fit 1,000 different cars.
Right. And you could fit them on a
models.
Datsun or a something or
Yeah,
whatever.
right, whatever, yeah.
But now it's like, no, I have like BMW's got like 15 different size brake rotors just for one model year.
How are you supposed to supply that stuff?
How do you keep that in stock?
Right.
Because you're not just dealing with the current model year. You're dealing with like 10 model years back, usually. Right. Usually a dealership, I would say 90% of the service is for the last 4 to 5 model years. And then like the last 10% you can extend out to like 10 model years. So 2012 and up is 90% of our work. Usually anything older, we're not. It's not that we won't work on it. They're just not bringing it into us.
Right.
And your most of it is nothing older than I'd say 17 and up is now what we're dealing with. That's just what's coming into the dealership. And
right.
So
yeah.
I'm not stocking parts for your 2005 PT Cruiser.
Can't.
I don't. I don't. I'm
Can't
not
do
going
that.
to. I'm not going to let a part waste space on a shelf for 3 years for the one time you come in.
For a PT Cruiser, to say the least.
Oh, I get those calls quite a bit. Yeah, I want to see if you had any parts for my 2002 PT. Nope.
There's your nope.
Nope.
A hard no.
Yeah. No. Extra no.
Well, this has all been good info.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I love working at the dealership. You meet so many great people.
Yeah.
Just like every industry, every job, you have adversity. And how you deal with that is how well you will succeed. Creating the relationships and just letting people understand. Honesty to me is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Is I'm super transparent with my customers.
Right.
When he calls in and he's like, hey, I know you got the parts yesterday because you called me and told me. What's the status? Sir, I haven't touched the vehicle.
Yeah.
You want the honest answer? I have 4 other racks that are full. I need one of those jobs to come off to get yours in. And then yes, it's a 3-hour job, but that's if he works on it for 3 hours straight. So that 1 day repair, I'm going to quote for 2 days once it comes in. I'll let you know where I'm at when I'm, you can call and check anytime and I'll tell you exactly what's going on. And I'm going to be transparent about it because the last thing I want to do is make you think it took me 5 days to fix a 3-hour job.
Yeah, or tell them it's on the rack and have them show up and it's not on the rack.
Oh God, I've seen that happen with people who mislead people and it doesn't work out.
No,
I've had customers show up so many times unannounced, and that's not the way I run my life. I want people to try to understand that I'm trying to help them.
Yeah,
and the minute that you lie to them, that's gone.
They know.
That's gone.
We're all smart. We can all tell.
Yeah, and I hear a lot of it from other shops, other recommendations that people make that are just wrong.
Yeah.
Like this shop that told a lady that her upper control arm was cracked. She didn't have an upper control arm in that location. It just had one control arm
right
on it. So it's like, how much was that lady going to pay that shop
to do what?
To fix a part that didn't exist on that
right.
car.
Yeah.
Yes, it had a rear upper control arm, but there was no front passenger upper control arm.
Yeah.
And so, she could have paid this guy maybe $800,
Who knows?
who knows what, to fix something that wasn't broken, that
Yeah.
didn't even exist on the car.
Yeah.
And so it's stuff like that that hurts the industry and that we try to get away from, but it's something you got to battle with every day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to know someone fighting at the dealership for the better of the industry for sure.
We try. I try. I can't speak for everybody, but it comes down to just talk to people, meet people, find out who's knowledgeable in whatever field you're looking at. If you want expertise on gardening, find somebody local who's doing a good job and talk to them. I'd say bring it down to local, stop going on the internet. Internet's a great tool, but there's way too much fluff.
Right.
And you need to meet somebody. Go out. How hard is it to meet people now? It's harder, but you can do it.
Yeah.
I'll flag somebody down. I'll spark up a conversation in a parking lot. I'll go to a business mixer or, just networking and figuring out people is how I run my life, because I figure out who's the expert and I learn from them.
Yeah. Get a part-time job with somebody and work for them on the weekends or a couple days a week. I mean, that's just get right into it. I mean, it's hard as an entry level to get in an automotive field, but the dealership's a great place to start.
Use the internet as a reference, not the final book. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of good stuff on the internet when you know how to decipher it.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll leave that as an ending cap there.
Yes.
So, no, good info. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, and if you guys are curious, you can follow me on Instagram, Papa Smurf Wrangler. Facebook, I have an off-road group, Central Coast Campers and Crawlers. And if you need service, you can see me at Malahi.
There it is. Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely.